One archaeologist has taken it upon himself and is ready to rewrite history we are used to. And it all started with one wooden find. A new tomb has been found deep underground near the pyramids, an ancient artifact that helps swallow, breathe, and talk. Archaeologists have discovered in Russia the most ancient viruses on our planet. They were sexually transmitted. Hi friend, you are on the Kurtop channel. Underground room under the pyramids. Scientists from Japan and Egypt conducted a study of the giant necropolis in Giza. Their attention was drawn to a plot in the Western Cemetery. Members of the ruling family and high-ranking officials were buried here. The burials were in tombs with flat roofs arranged in a row. There is a free area between them that has not been previously studied. Japanese and Egyptian scientists examined it using ground-penetrating radar and electrical tomography, which made it possible to look deeper without excavation. The scan showed that at a depth of half a meter to 2 meters, there is an L-shaped structure measuring approximately 10 by 10 meters. The authors of the study believe that this is not a natural formation, but an artificial one due to its regular shape and location. Researchers suggest that this structure may be part of a deeper structure. At a depth of 5 to 10 meters, the instruments also recorded an anomaly, indicating the heterogeneity of the rock. This could be another tomb or an artifact chamber. Bronze Age wooden well. Archaeologists recently discovered a well-preserved Bronze Age wooden well in Oxfordshire, England. The well was found during the construction of Benson Relief Road. John Boothroyd, senior project manager, said they expected to find a regular hole but came across a preserved wooden post driven vertically into the ground. Further excavations revealed that the pillars were part of a wooden well. The moist soil contributed to the excellent preservation of the tree. Archaeologists digitally documented the structure and carefully dismantled it for transport to Oxfordshire museums. Wood samples were sent for analysis to determine its type. In addition to the well, archaeologists found flint, animal bones, and pottery fragments indicating their use for storage and waste. Despite difficult conditions, the team successfully fixed the well. Soil samples will help create a more complete picture of the surrounding landscape and the scale of the settlement. Helped swallow, breathe, and talk. Polish archaeologists have discovered a unique medical prosthesis designed for a person with a cleft palate, which is about 300 years old. This defect occurs when the roof of the mouth does not close properly during development and can now be corrected with surgery. However, 3 centuries ago, people were forced to look for other solutions. The prosthesis was found in the Church of St. Francis of Assisi in Krakow and is the first of its kind found in Poland. It was probably custom-made for a specific person with a cleft palate to make their life more comfortable. The device was inserted into the mouth and filled the gap in the roof of the mouth, performing functions necessary for normal life. The uniqueness of this prosthesis lies in its design. It consists of 2 parts, a metal plate that acts as the hard palate and a woolen lining for a snug fit to the mouth. The hard palate helps with swallowing, breathing, and speaking, and also holds objects in the mouth, preventing them from entering the nasal cavity. This small device, about 3 centimeters long and weighing only 6 grams, was quite advanced for its time. To study the prosthesis in more detail, scientists used a special microscope and X-ray analysis. They discovered that the metal parts were made of copper mixed with gold and silver. The wool pad contained traces of silver iodide, probably to protect against germs and maintain cleanliness. Stone with mysterious marks. A geography teacher named Graham Sr. was clearing out an overgrown garden outside his Coventry home when he came across a stone with mysterious cuts. Intrigued by the find, he sent the photographs to a local archaeologist. Graham was shocked to learn that the marks on the stone were made more than 1,600 years ago and that the artifact was worthy of museum display. The rectangular sandstone stone was covered with writing in the Agam alphabet, which was used in the early Middle Ages primarily to write the Irish language. Before the advent of parchment manuscripts, the Irish used the Agam system, which consisted of parallel lines carved into stone or wood. Rare examples of such stones provide important data about early Irish language and culture. Catherine Forsyth, professor of Celtology at the University of Glasgow, confirmed that this is a letter from the Agamas. dating from around the 4th to 6th centuries. The stone, 11 centimeters long and weighing 139 g, has inscriptions on 3 of its 4 sides. Its purpose remains a mystery, but scientists speculate that it could have been a portable memento. The inscription on the stone consists of 2 parts. The first part contains the person's name, Mael Damkiel. The second part is less clear and may be an indication of location, but the exact meaning remains unknown. The dark history of ancient columns. Sweden is a harsh country, and even against its backdrop, there are especially bewitchingly gloomy places. One of these is a trio of stone pillars on Gallo Hill, in a nature reserve north of Visby. The site claims to be the only surviving medieval execution site in Europe. The Galgberget Gallows, located on top of a small hill in the municipality of Visby, is an eerie but historically important site, one of the few remaining from the Middle Ages. Built in the 13th century, it was used to execute local criminals. Tall stone pillars surrounded by a low stone wall supported wooden beams from which the condemned were hung with ropes and hooks. The gallows was visible from the sea, serving as a warning of the harsh consequences that awaited the criminals. During archaeological excavations, the bodies of about 30 people were discovered near the gallows. All of them were executed. Some bodies were in wooden coffins, which was a luxury and indicated that these people belonged to the upper class. This shows that not only robbers and the poor were executed here, but also members of the elite. Tomb and thousands of relics. Archaeologists have made a surprising discovery at Wuwandong, one of the largest archaeological sites in the Kingdom of Chu. A sumptuous 2,200-year-old tomb has been unearthed in eastern China that may have belonged to an emperor of the Kingdom of Chu, an important region during Chinese history. Chu was one of the 7 warring kingdoms, along with Qin, Han, Wei, Zhao, Qi, and Yan. Their unification is considered the dawn of modern China. The Kingdom of Chu existed for more than 800 years until it was overthrown by the Kingdom of Qin in 223 BC. At Wuwandong, researchers found a cemetery with a chariot, sacrifice pits, and a tomb that likely belonged to the owner of the cemetery. Among the many artifacts, boards for the burial chamber, bamboo mats, and lacquerware attracted particular attention. In total, more than 1,000 cultural relics were found, dating back to approximately 220 BC. Among them are bronze ritual vessels, musical instruments, lacquerware, and plant remains. The most interesting find was the central coffin with an inscription containing more than 1,000 hieroglyphs. The scale of the tomb, its complex structure, and rich contents led researchers to believe that it belonged to the emperor of the Chu Kingdom. To preserve the remains, archaeologists worked in a low-oxygen laboratory built at the excavation site. Digital scanning and video recording were used to create a 3D model of the tomb. Leather shoes from the tomb. Chinese archaeologists are restoring 1,400-year-old leather shoes found in the Astana tombs, capital of the ancient kingdom of Gaochun. German experts are helping with the restoration. Finding such old leather or textiles is rare, as they quickly decompose when exposed to air. The shoes, recovered from an archive of objects excavated since the 1950s, are 24 centimeters long and consist of upper, shaft, and sole pieces sewn from goatskin with animal sinew. Archaeologists have been exploring the tombs for more than a century. Since the 1950s, 456 tombs have been studied in 14 excavations, yielding some 10,000 valuable relics. The hot, dry climate preserved many items that would otherwise have been destroyed, including 300 leather items. Ancient shoes have been found in other archaeological sites around the world. For example, hundreds of shoes or moccasins were found in a cave in Utah that was inhabited about 850 years ago. On the shores of the Great Salt Lake, 207 moccasins made from animal skins, mostly children's, were found. The soles of the shoes were made of full buffalo leather lined with fur and stitched at the heel, characteristic of the Canadian subarctic style. The presence of so many children's shoes indicates a thriving population, despite people leaving the region due to drought. These shoes were created by the promontory culture. In May 2014, the world's oldest pair of trousers was discovered in China. Archaeologists have found the remains of 2 nomads and 3,000-year-old patterned trousers in western China. supporting the theory that the switch from tunics to trousers was a practical decision for horsemen. It is impossible to say exactly when humans began making clothing due to the rapid decomposition of fabrics, but estimates range from 100,000 to 500,000 years ago. The first clothes were made from skins, fur, herbs, leaves, bones, and shells. The oldest dyed fibers were found in a cave in Georgia and are 36,000 years old. The body of a frozen man 400 years ago. In the Alps, archaeologists have discovered the body of a man who died approximately 400 years ago. Researchers believe that the man, found at an altitude of 3,600 meters above sea level, went to the mountains and froze due to bad weather. The man was dressed in rich 17th century clothing, indicating his high social position. He was probably a merchant or traveler. More than 150 gold coins, weapons, a dagger, a sword, and a pistol, leather boots, and the remains of mules were found on him. This incredible find gives us a unique opportunity to explore the lives and journeys of people in the early modern era. Clothing, personal effects, and other artifacts found with the body provide valuable information about the fashion, trade, and technology of the time. Scientists plan to conduct a thorough examination of the remains and artifacts to learn more about the life and death of this mysterious traveler. An ancient helmet that caused terror in the enemy. The burial, which is about 2,500 years old, was discovered by archaeologists in Croatia. In an Illyrian burial, they found an iron helmet that was likely a votive offering or part of a cultic practice. The helmet was found in a mound at the archaeological site of Gomila. The mound dates back to the period between the 6th and 4th centuries BC. On the territory of Gomil, there are several mounds located near the village of Zakatorek on the Pelješac Peninsula, next to the Adriatic Sea. Each mound has several graves, each containing several burials. According to ancient Greek records, the region was inhabited at that time by the Illyrians, who were divided into tribes and kingdoms. Gradually, the Romans conquered them. The found helmet has yet to be carefully examined, but according to scientists, it was preserved in perfect condition. The helmet was discovered in a stone structure separated from the graves in the mound. Archaeologists believe that the helmet was used in battle and could have a psychological effect on the enemy. Imagine a warrior with a shiny helmet on his head in the sun on the eve of battle. This moment alone can cause fear in the enemy. Ancient house in the Sinai desert. In Egypt, archaeologists have discovered a 3,500-year-old structure in the Sinai desert identified as a royal recreation area. The ruins of this fortified area were found at the archaeological site of Tel Habwa. The palace, intended for the rest of the pharaoh and his entourage, was built of mud brick. It was part of the fortified complexes built near the eastern gate of Egypt to house troops. Dating showed that the palace was built during the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose III, known for his military campaigns. The kings of ancient Egypt regularly made military expeditions to the eastern Mediterranean. The Sinai Desert was one of the routes of the Egyptian troops. The pharaoh's rest house was a strategic object, the center of the fortress, where the ruler and his army rested. Here the warriors recuperated and replenished supplies before their campaigns. The Stone Age may turn out to be wooden. Researchers believe that human ancestors knew how to process wood 3 million years ago. In 1836, Danish archaeologist Christian Jørgensen Thomsen proposed a chronology from the Stone Age to the Bronze and Iron Ages, which became the basis of archaeology. However, archaeologist Thomas Terberger is ready to rewrite history and believes that the Stone Age can be replaced by the Wooden Age. He suggests that wooden tools last as long as stone ones, that is, 2.5 or 3 million years. It's just that the wood decomposes faster. Primitive stone tools are characteristic of the lower Paleolithic, but wood has been found in only 10 of the thousands of archaeological sites from that era. Terberger led a study of wooden objects found in peat in a coal mine near Schöningen in Germany from 1994 to 2008. Among the artifacts were spears and throwing sticks dating from the end of the warm interglacial period 300,000 years ago. These discoveries upended the idea of human ancestors who were previously considered simple scavengers. People who lived before Homo sapiens created tools and hunting weapons, cooperated to hunt, and knew how to butcher game. 3D microscopy and micro-CT scanners found signs of wear on 187 pieces of wood. Until now, it was believed that only modern people were involved in wood processing. Among the finds were sticks, kitchen utensils, and household tools made of spruce, pine, and larch. The wood was cut down on a mountain 2 to 3 kilometers from the discovery site. The analysis showed that Stone Age people carefully processed wood following a certain order: removing bark, removing branches, sharpening tips, hardening in fire. Wooden tools turned out to be more complex than stone ones. Oldest known human viruses. Researchers from the Federal University of Sao Paulo have discovered the oldest viruses in the bones of Neanderthals, which are more than 50,000 years old. 2 Neanderthals whose remains were found in a cave in Russia have undergone DNA testing. The results showed traces of papillomavirus, sexually transmitted, and adenovirus, which causes colds, as well as other viruses. Both Neanderthals were men. Experts have long speculated that viruses may have contributed to the extinction of Neanderthals. This discovery may confirm this theory. The study suggests that Neanderthals may have been infected by the same viruses as modern humans. It has also been shown that it is possible to identify fragments of viral genomes in archaeological samples. Adenoviruses can cause a variety of diseases, from the common cold to acute gastroenteritis. Papillomaviruses are known to be associated with cervical cancer. The team behind the discovery plans to synthesize these Jurassic Park viruses to compare them with their modern counterparts. The remains were found in the Chagirskaya cave in the Altai Mountains in Siberia. They belong to a group of 9 people found in 2022 who were related. Researchers were able to sequence the genome of Neanderthals and find that viral traces did not end up in the remains of animals or modern humans. Archaeologists emphasize that viruses were not the only reason for the extinction of Neanderthals, but could play a role in this process. In the last video, I talked about an artifact that 2,000 years ago, now and in the future, will have the same shape and method of use. I also talked about where people in the Middle Ages found unicorn horns, so I recommend watching the previous video too. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Bye everyone.